Hello everyone, I'm Bra Mithra. Today I'm going to be talking about the big pre-order expansions for Kingdom Death Monster. This is being recorded in June of 2022. So we are expecting to be able to pre-order the current expansions, the current 12 expansions. We're expecting to be able to buy them again. They're expected to go on sale because of everybody for all the 1.6, and because wave 3.2 is Campaigns of Death. This is the opportunity for everybody who just bought 1.6 to be buying in and pre-ordering all those expansions. Now, I've said this before. I don't know. Most people, when they make videos and stuff, they're going to draw everything way out, all right? This is going to be a long video, but I'm going to tell you right now what I feel about the expansions, right? Here you go. Here's my opinion. And then everything else is just going to be explaining it and giving you context. Get the Gambler's Chest, right? I'm well aware of what the FOMO, right? Majority of people who play Kingdom Death Monster are going to get everything. So who cares about my opinion? Just buy it all. Is it all valuable? Yeah, it's all valuable. Will it all resell? Yeah, sure. We'll all resell. Are you getting your monies for it? Yeah, sure. You're getting value for what you're buying. Are they all worth owning? Yeah, sure. They're all worth owning. Go ahead. Go buy them all. Who cares? It doesn't matter. If money is no context to you and you don't care how much you spend on Kingdom Death, then go buy them all. I have them all. There you go. So let's talk about adding context. If you care, and you're not planning on buying everything, do I feel that all of the current 12 expansions are worth owning? No, they are not. Are they worth the value that you're going to pay for them? No, they are not at all worth it. I will explain. You should get the Gambler's Chest. So, I'm going to use the prices that we were last given, which would be in 2021 for the current 12 expansions plus the Gambler's Chest. Now, the Gambler's Chest was rated at $400 US. This is all going to be US dollars. So for $400 US, you get the Gambler's Chest, which includes, this is just going to be a simple breakdown comparing Gambler's Chest and what you get in it compared to what you could get for the same amount from the original 12 expansions. All right? So, you get the Crimson Crocodile, which is a Node 1 expansion with its own prologue, right? I'm going to relate that to Gorm, right? Crimson Crocodile is a little bit better than Gorm, because Gorm doesn't currently have a prologue. Who knows if it will in Campaigns of Death? If we would have had a Dark Herald that actually explained Campaigns of Death, that would have been great. But what we got was a Lonely Tree tidbit, and then some stuff from 2016. So, Gorm, I assume, will have a prologue in Campaigns of Death. So we'll just say that Gorm is worth $75. We'll just say Crimson Crocodile and Gorm, $75. So that's one thing that's in the Gambler's Chest. Next, you have the Smog Singers, which are on Node 2. Again, the best one to compare it to is Gorm, because Spidicules is way overpriced. So Gorm, $75. We'll just say that Smog Singers themselves are also $75. That's $150 that you're getting just in the Gambler's Chest. Now, here's a huge stretch. You're going to get King, which is the very first Node 4 quarry. True Node 4, right? There's Lion God's probably going to be a Node 4, but anyway. King, Gambler, and Godhand. So, why do I say all three of those? King is a quarry, which is a Node 4. So, it's a full later game quarry, right? For all included in the Gambler's Chest, has its own 4 armor sets, has everything, has gear, all that stuff. Gambler is just a one-time fight, replaces the Watcher, but it includes an entire campaign, right? The Gambler is the People of the Dreamkeeper, right? That is the monster that you need. That is the core monster to run the Gambler's Chest campaign. And then Godhand. Godhand's just like a little one-time nemesis that you can't use anywhere else, only within that special campaign, right? So all three of those things, I'm just going to say that's Dragon King. It's the equivalent to Dragon King. Why do I say that? Dragon King gives you its own campaign, People of the Stars, gives you its own nemesis that can only be used inside of that thing. You can only fight it inside that nemesis. Can't use Tyrant outside of nemesis. And then Dragon King is the finale monster, right? You fight it at the end. It has its very special legendary encounter. You fight it at the end. That's the story. You see your campaign to the end. It's the highlight of People of the Stars. But also, Dragon King can be used outside of it as another late game quarry. So, all of that, I'm just going to say that those three things, which not a true equivalence, but I'm just using it for comparison's sake. King, Gambler and God Hand, I'm comparing that to Dragon King at $150. So now you've got 75 US dollars, 75 US dollars, and 150 US dollars. That's $300 just from those three things. Gambler's Chest also contains Atlas, which is a Kingsman replacement. So I'm just going to say that that's equivalent to Slenderman, because that's a Kingsman replacement. That's $60. So that's $360. Gambler's Chest is $400, right? Now, these prices I'm going to say are probably going to go up a little bit, but either way, $400 for the Gambler's Chest, $360 just for the stuff that's involved. Now, the Gambler's Chest also has philosophies, patterns, 30 other just survivors, promo stuff, entire new redone, completely redone strains, completely redone innovation trees, a whole new food tree, all 30 new philosophies, all these new knowledge cards, all that other stuff you're getting for $40 essentially, right? So is there any reason to buy any of the wave? If you've just bought wave 6 and you have a budget, right? Again, I'm only talking to people who have budgets. I'm well aware of what our hobby is. I'm well aware that everybody has FOMO. I'm well aware that I own everything, right? Do I use everything? No, I don't use everything. Again, if you don't have a budget and you literally don't care and you just want to resell everything, buy everything. Who cares? You can resell it. It's going to hold its value. This is mainly because people keep asking, what are the expansions to buy? Well, most people... That's the thing. When you go into a Discord and you ask, or you ask on Reddit, or you ask on Board Game Geek, or you ask the very active Kingdom Death people, they're going to tell you to buy everything, right? They're very active in the Kingdom community. They buy everything, right? I'm very active in the Kingdom Death community. I buy everything. I buy white boxes. There's a whole... Look at all these white boxes. Look at this nonsense, right? Don't ever buy these. These are totally worth it. I didn't even open them yet. These are the Stoneful Spaces. Don't even buy them, right? They're just not worth it. All this these white boxes here, I've got white boxes stacked up. None of this stuff is worth it, right? So I'm not talking to people like that. But if you have a budget, buy Gambler's Chest. It is so much more valuable than anything that you're going to see in any from the original Wave 1s, right? Now I'm going to go through and talk about the original expansions and what they are to their value. Again, these are not reviews of them. I'm just going to tell you what you get in them, what you should expect when you buy them. Would I buy them again? It's not a real review here. I've done reviews of some of the expansions. I'm going to try eventually to do them all. The only reason why it takes me longer to do reviews, I need to do Slenderman and I need to do Sunstalker still on my channel, but I don't want to do a review unless I have gameplay to direct you towards after I do it, right? So there needs to be episodes of it. That's why I haven't done all of them. But so with that said, again, no particular order. I'm just going to go down the list. Should you buy expansions if you just bought 1.6? Yes, you should buy Gambler's Chest. But if that's it, then play 1.6. All right, just play it to completion. Play it once or twice even. And then decide what it is that you dislike, right? Or what it is that you want to expand. Because some of these expansions are very, very loose with what an expansion actually is. They're just called expansions on the very loosest basis of the term, right? Some of this stuff is equivalent to like just a white box. So it's like the very, very small amount of what you actually get. So... they're not true. They're not really expanding some of the stuff that you would. It's like, for example, mainly the big one is green. The green Knight armor doesn't expand anything if you buy that separately, right? It's cheap, but it doesn't really do anything to you if you just own that. It doesn't even work. So, again, that's what I'm saying. Not all of these are equal at all. They're not even close to being equatable. So, once you've played 1.6. Once you've played People of the Lantern, right? People of the Lantern is the included campaign. It is the most sandboxy of all of it. It's the game system setting, right? Kingdom Death is more of like a game system. This goes into what I was talking about in my Massive Darkness 2 review. Or like, you know, it's like Warhammer Quest, right? And again, Poots wants to make Warhammer Quest. And here, all those old board games. That Kingdom Death, the box you get, People of the Lantern, is the game system. That is the setting of the game. That is the one that everything can plug and play with. Looks like Gambler's Chest isn't even going to do that. Doesn't look like People the Dreamkeeper is even going to do that. It looks like some of the stuff from Gambler's Chest will go back to People of the Lantern, and then you can play around in your sandbox. But People of the Dreamkeeper seems from what he's said is an enclosed thing all upon itself, and then it works with the core system. So, if you disliked People of the Lantern, or you're looking for something new, you want a new story, you don't want to just play in the sandbox, you want a new story, you like narrative and you like all that stuff, the two things you are looking to most are Dragon King and Sunstalker. Those two add a new campaign. We're going to start with those. Are they equivalents? Not really. They're not even like the same campaign, right? They have different rules on them and different intimacy. They're really cool. Dragon King, I've already talked about. Dragon King also includes a Tyrant, which is a nemesis specifically for the People of the Stars campaign. So, you are getting an entire nemesis in there. You can't use nemesis in People of the Lantern, right? You can't use it anywhere outside of People of the Stars. But you're getting one with Dragon King. Then Dragon King is the finale. He's like again, these are not 1.5 expansions. These are 1.0, so they don't account for Gold Smoke Knight and all that stuff. They're not 30 years. Like 1.6 is 30 years. You end with the Gold Smoke Knight. 25 is where you used to be able to take the Watcher, but you could fight it at 20. So these look to fit in that in the 20 to 25 year flux. That's the end. These Sunstalker and Dragon King, they're ending in Lantern Year 20 and march towards Lantern Year 25. Both of them do that. Both of them peak at 20, and then you go to the finale. However fast you get there, however you survive to get there, whatever. But that's where they're going to live. 20 to 25 is their peak. Dragon King, let's talk about that. So Dragon King is $150 US. Dragon King is very worth it if you want a new campaign. Dragon King is very worth it just in general because you get the quarry itself. The Dragon King substitutes as a quarry. You can use it in People of the Stars. You could use it in People of the Sun too for Sunstalker if you want. It becomes just a quarry, right? And a Phoenix fight like level quarry, supposedly around there. It's not super difficult, but so it fits in there. You could use it outside. And then you get the whole campaign and you get an entire nemesis in there. And the campaign is really good. It's probably the best one story-wise. It offers a lot of variety. It's the most sandboxy of the other. It's considered the best campaign of the three. I don't know. I like People of the Lantern. Again, I like the sandbox. So, but that's just me. Again, I'm not going to review these. I'm just going to tell you what you expect to get if you were to buy them. So that's Dragon King. You get a quarry. You get a nemesis that's campaign specific, and you get an entire campaign for $150 US. For Sunstalker, you get People of the Sun, which is not as it's good. It's not as in depth as People of the Stars, the Dragon King one, because it doesn't include a personalized nemesis. You just get the Sunstalker, and then the way that campaign works is it's pretty much just a boss, ends with like a boss rush. You just fight a whole bunch of nemesis at the end, and if you survive all those nemesis, then you fight a Sunstalker, and that's the end of the campaign. There's all kinds of new cool intimacy, and there's all kinds of new cool stuff in there. There's fishing and all kinds of new stuff. But the Sunstalker, again, can also be used as another quarry, Phoenix level around there, quarry. None of these things replace things. I'm not going to talk at all about the node system because the node system doesn't exist for these expansions as far as these expansions are considered. So who cares? They just sub anywhere you want them. You throw them in your campaign. So you just throw Sunstalker in. You just throw Dragon King in. But Sunstalker is a very good armor set. Dragon King also is a very good armor set. All these quarries are good, right? I'm not going to review how good they are, how they work, all that stuff. You just get them. Right, that's what you're paying for. You're paying for something, a new quarry to fight, plus a new campaign. These are the only two that are worth mentioning the campaigns about, right? Flower Knight also includes one. It's not worth mentioning at all. It's not a real campaign. It says it has People to Bloom. It's not a real campaign. It's not worth mentioning. It's basically one of the ones you get in the back of the book. It's like the equivalent of People of the Skull or whatever, Bone Keeper or whatever, the Bone Eaters. But it doesn't matter. That's what it's basically equivalent to. So, meh. I'm not going to mention it for its campaign, but then again, that's in Flower Knight. So those are those two: Sunstalker, Dragon King. Sunstalker is $100 US. It's a little bit less because it has no nemesis in it. Again, these prices probably will go up. If these prices go up and Gambler's Chest doesn't go up, all the more reason to just buy Gambler's Chest. I think these will slightly go up The Wave 4 expansions have slightly gone up since last year when you could get them. I know that's because maybe they're adding new content or whatever, but for the purest example, Death Knight armor in Wave 4, the one that's supposed to be kind of like the green armor equivalent, that went up from 25 to 50 bucks. So that's 50 bucks. Either there's going to be a ton of content in there, or it's just going up because of inflation. I think some of these are going to be going up when you see them relisted. Next, let's talk about Flower Knight. Flower Knight is it's just a quarry, a low lantern year quarry. I've reviewed this one on the channel. You can see my opinion on it. It works. It's very good. You might only want to fight it once or twice, but you do want to fight it because the stuff you get is good. Flower Knight is $60, 60 US dollars. Sure, if that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for Flower Knight, the fight itself is interesting. There's a lot of things that need to be fixed, in my opinion, with Flower Knight. Flower Knight basically makes the game easier because of all the stuff that's in it. A lot of the fighting arts, a lot of the gear, a lot of the story intro event, a lot of the stuff. It makes the game, all that's really powerful stuff, makes the game a lot easier. So if you want to boost your power level of all your survivors in every game you use it, you add Flower Knight, it will definitely do that. So if you're buying it with the intent of making the game slightly easier, Flower Knight does that. That's my opinion on Flower Knight. Again, all these things are worth the value that I'm talking about individually. Gorm, $75. Gorm does not have a prologue. Gorm fits Node 1. It fits with Lion and Antelope. You do it right away. You Lantern Year 1, introduce it, and then you can hunt it for the rest of the whole game. Gorm is really cool, much more involved than most of the other quarries, even the expansion quarries, because Level 1, Level 2, and Level 3 all have different things, different stories to them. They're all completely thematically different and have different incentives to fight them, unique rewards to the level. Gorm is really good. If Gorm is the base that they're going to use for Wave 4 looks good. That's why I compared most of the stuff in Gambler's Chest to Gorm, because Gorm is one of the stronger ones. Gorm is helpful to every game that you get if you're going to look to buy Gorm. Not because Gorm's a great quarry, not because the armor set's super good. It has a lot of weapons. The weapons are what's good, and not just the weapons themselves being great. The weapon types are good. You can get a shield, an axe, and a grand weapon, and those are not in Lion, right? And they're also not in Antelope. Those are like shields and stuff. You'd have to wait till leather, and you have to do all those other things. So Gorm, if it adds a lot of variety to your game because you can have access to those weapon proficiencies right away, and you could just go kill a Gorm. Now you're playing a People of the Lantern game where you can have access to shields really fast right out of the gate, or you can have access to the rib blade, which is a grand weapon. Access to it right away. The axes are good. Again, that's why Gorm is good. It adds more variety. It's like a true expansion to whatever game you use it in, even if you use it in People of the Stars, People of the Sun, because it really adds to what the Lope and the Lion are missing. So that is Gorm. Lion God is $60. Lion God is rough because of the way the game currently works in 1.6. If you're buying Lion God to add it into People of the Lantern, because of what People of the Lantern is and the new rules for People of the Lantern, when you go to proceed to fight the Gold Smoke Knight, Lion God is a later game quarry and it needs to fit into that area, and it kind of suffers because of it. Not going to spoil anything for anyone, but it just didn't do any favors. 1.5 didn't do any favors to Lion God. So Lion God also doesn't really have gear to it. It has gear you can get, but it's not gear that you build at a settlement location. The rewards is kind of weird for Lion God. There you go. That's Lion God. It's really cool. What Lion God is if you're looking for a one-time fight in your campaign, 1 or 2 times you want to fight it, and you want a real test. You want a test of how good you are. If you want a challenge in the later game, if you want to go out and hunt something just to say you beat it, that's what Lion God is. It's fun. The fight is really good, so it's fun. Lion God's $60. Lonely Tree is listed at $75. The Lonely Tree is the weirdest of all of these expansions. The Lonely Tree adds itself via like hunt events. You can add it to any campaign. It doesn't replace anything. It doesn't take up anything. You run it, you encounter it via the hunt at random. So I guess there's a chance you could add it to a campaign and never see it, which is kind of a downfall for an expansion. But at the same time, you will see it. It just happens at random. It's kind of invasive. The fight itself is kind of wonky. The legendary card pack fixes it a little bit. Well, it doesn't fix it. It takes away the fact that you need to ask people how do you play it. It corrects itself. So with that, that's how the Lonely Tree works. It's huge. The Lonely Tree is a big miniature. It doesn't move around. It just kind of sits there. It doesn't move in the fight, whatever. It's cool, interesting. Lonely Tree is not terrible. $75, 75 US dollars. So Dung Beetle Knight. So let's talk about Dung Beetle Knight. Dung Beetle Knight is another there for the challenge, like Lion God. Dung Beetle Knight has probably the strongest monster in the legendary form that we currently have, which is the old master, which is Tom. Dung Beetle Knight interacts with a lot of core and then interacts with itself. Dung Beetle Knight, again, has a weird kind of... It doesn't replace anything. It's kind of like Flower Knight. You just throw it in there and then you can hunt it. The stuff that it adds to the game itself is nice because it interacts with core stuff. So, you'll get longevity out of it, even if you're not adding other expansions. You're just using just core. So if you were to just own it, you'd get extra bonuses. The way it works is it lets you upgrade your gear. So like Zombato and stuff like that from core, you upgrade your gear, you fight it, bury your gear. A couple years later, it becomes stronger. The armor set is really unique. It's really cool. It's not like a true like armor set. It's kind of like a mishmash. You can wear pieces of it. It's still good. The armor set's really cool. The Dung Beetle Knight fight is really cool. Everything about it's really cool, except for you need the card pack. Unless these expansions specifically say that they include the new upgraded components that were released with the card pack, you'll want to get the card pack for Dung Beetle Knight Corrections. Otherwise, you have to look them all up and then remember one card needs changes and hit location needs some changes and some resources. Oh, the same thing with the Sunstalker. There's a missing resource that's in the card pack, but hopefully all these new things, if they're selling to you now, they have the card pack inclusions in them. So, let's see, what have I done? I've done Dragon King, Dung Beetle Knight, Flower Knight, Gorm, Lion God, Lonely Tree. Spidicules. Oh, Dung Beetle Knight's $60. So, well worth it. Spooter, the Spidicules, is $100. That miniature is huge and ridiculous, and you'll never use it. You'll never use it unless it requires a lot of tweaking if you want to actually use it on your game board. But the miniature looks really cool. It's awesome miniature. If you have some idea that you want to use things for other miniatures, or you use miniatures for other things, then it's a really cool looking one, but you'll never use it in the game. So Spidicules is a replacement for the antelope. Kind of. I would never do that. They suggest doing it, but actually the lope and the spider work really well together. But I don't know why they made that suggestion. It's a terrible suggestion. So don't do that. When you buy spider, you're looking to use spider, not replacing lope. So with spider has really weird things. The armor set, you can't really complete it right away. It's not like a true low-level armor set because one of them's gated behind the level 3, one of the pieces. It's kind of weird. Has some really devastatingly bad events. It's RMG to its fullest. Again, I'm not reviewing this. I'm just telling you what you can expect from it. Full armor set, full weapons and all that stuff. A lot of the weapons are really cool. Some of the armor pieces just alone, if you want to just mix and match armor sets and stuff, they're really cool. The weapons are actually really neat. Some of the most weird interactions in the game come from Spider, like through the rings and stuff. There's some really cool accessories it has that can do some really crazy stuff. But Spider's interesting enough. That's what you get. It's another quarry. You'll be able to add it to any game you want. Has some cool interactions. results may vary depending on those RNG story events that introduce it, plus the aftermath events, how much you'll actually enjoy it. So that's Spooter, $100 for a mini you won't use on your board whatsoever. Next is Slenderman. Slenderman is $60. Slenderman is a Kingsman replacement. Slenderman is one of the ones you can probably outright replace, right? It tells you to replace it. I actually would just outright replace it. I've done so in my Season 2. Just outright replace Kingsman. It works really well. Slenderman works. Slenderman's probably the tightest to what a true expansion should be. And by that I mean you buy it and it does exactly what it says, and you can expect to get exactly what it is that it sells you. And that is, Slenderman is a nemesis that replaces Kingsman. That's it. It's exactly that. It's perfect. It does it very adequately. Does it very well, actually, because a lot of people don't like Kingsman. So it does it very well. A lot of people will say you should get Slenderman because Kingsman's so terrible. So if you hate Kingsman, then Slenderman should be the first thing on your list, because it does it very well. It replaces Kingsman, and that's what you want. That's exactly what you're going to get. There's really no other way to review Slenderman. Sunstalker, I talked about. Again, Sunstalker is just another quarry. Really cool. Sunstalker is $100. Same price as Spider for some reason. So Green Knight, I'm going to talk about Green Knight armor last. Manhunter is $60. Manhunter is another nemesis. It's not a direct replacement like Slenderman. Manhunter you kind of just throw in, and it just comes back, and then you have repeated special showdowns. Manhunter comes by 4 times because there's a level 4, and it has a lot of cool stuff. Manhunter is really cool. It has a lot of good gear in it. The rewards for fighting it are actually really good. The innovations that it gives you are really good. A lot of it is really good. It's like the truest expansion to the game, because it doesn't replace something, it doesn't take away from something, and it doesn't require something else. Manhunter is purely expansion in like the truest sense, because it's adding a nemesis fight because it's a special showdown to you're getting more in your game because you're putting it in. It doesn't replace anything. It just shows up the same year, sometimes as Butchers, or sometimes the same years as Kingsman. You just fight them in addition. You get extra fights, and then you get extra rewards. And it's really cool. So that's what Manhunter is. Lion Knight is $70. It's more expensive than Manhunter. I assume it's because it comes with a whole bunch of role survivors now, and then it also comes with Ash, Ryan, and whatever their names are. The three girls, I guess, for some 3 extra miniatures. I don't know why it's $10 more than Manhunter. It's not. It's the same thing. It's literally what I just said about Manhunter. It's the same exact thing. It's just a nemesis that shows up, doesn't replace anything, truly just expands your game. You fight it, you get some cool stuff. You don't lose anything by putting it in. You just gain. So it's a true expansion. Now back to Green Knight armor. The $25 Green Knight armor. The thing that is made from all the expansions, which is not true. It's not made from all the expansions. You don't need 2 of them. I don't think you need Slenderman, and I don't think you need Lion Guy. I think those are the 2 you don't need. Technically, you barely need Spidicules either. You don't ever actually even have to fight the Spidicules. You just need one of the innovations. So, again, you can't even use it without owning everything else. So, is it worth $25? No. If you're not going to own everything else, it's not worth it at all. The gear is really good. If you're gonna go down that road, I almost have never made it. Building everything from the Green Knight requires a very specific path, and for you to play very specifically and do very specific, you need to just. So if you're one of those people who goes out and buys a strategy guide, and you sit down with your game, and you go, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Now I'm going to do this. Okay, where am I at now? Okay, I'm going to make that party. I'm going to put that gear on. I'm going to do this. Okay, now I'm going to go do this. Now I'm going to go do this. They tell me to go do this. Now I'm going to go do that. Now I'm going to do... And you don't do anything for yourself. Then Green Knight armor is really good because you have no agency in it. It's hard to build, and you need to do very specific things at very specific times and have very specific proficiencies when fights come along, and then die certain ways or win certain ways, do certain things at certain lantern years. It's not fun, but if you if you like doing that and you want to make it all, that's the kind of gameplay you need to make. However, if you just want bits and pieces, it's really great, right? Every little piece is going to be good, and you don't need to use, say you just want to get like the shield or something, you might only need to use 2 expansions to do that, and the shield's really good. So you just want the sword, you might only need to use 3 expansions, throw those in, and then there you go, good, you make the sword, right? You could pick and choose, but if you wanted to actually make all of it and go down that road, it's very difficult. It's not intuitive. How it was implemented into the game is not intuitive. I think it was just thrown together because he promised it. So, with all that said, get the Gambler's Chest 100% if you ever on a budget. If you already own the Gambler's Chest and you don't know, I don't think these will hold weight until Campaigns of Death comes out. And then when Campaigns of Death comes out, these will be better. But until then, I think the Gambler's Chest is probably going to be the way you want. That's the way I'm going to be playing. One, because it's new stuff, but the Gambler's Chest just looks so much better. Even the newer expansions coming out look like they've got better mechanics in them. It looks like he's learned. Well, that makes sense, right? He's made the game a long time ago. He's probably learned. The newer expansions are probably going to be better than these older ones. Hence why they need Campaigns of Death. But even then, still, the newer Wave 4 stuff, if we ever get all of it, will probably be better than this stuff. But if you're looking for some recommendations, again, play the game, decide what it is you don't like, and decide what it is that you want to see expanded upon. I just told you what all the 12 expansions do. You could pick and choose now. But if you want some just opinions, Dragon King is the best one. I would probably get Dragon King. It adds the most for your money. You get a new campaign, you get a special nemesis, you get a new quarry, you get a new finale. Dragon King adds a whole bunch if you only want to get one. Dragon King is very good. If you don't want to spend $150 and you're looking to maybe get one thing, Gorm is the next best one. I would get Gorm because of the way Gorm works. Like I said, it helps you make your game different every time, because normally it's like, oh, I want to do spear, fist and tooth, and maybe like sword, maybe something like that. Then you just go get those things and you level up your proficiencies, and then by the end, then when you're time to switch proficiencies, you have more variety because you have more nemesis nodes open to you, or more quarry nodes open to you. You have more options. But with the Gorm, you have all of the weapon types just available to you right away. And you can start your campaign differently. You can be like, well, I'm going to go axe, shield, and grand weapon this time, right out of the gate. Lantern year 1, I'm going to pursue that. We'll see how it goes. That's why Gorm is good for that aspect. Let's say you want to spend a little bit of money, right? If you want a lot of variety, I would suggest, I would suggest Gorm, Dung Beetle Knight, and Slenderman. Those are 3 pretty good ones, right? You get a lot of variety in there because of Gorm, what I just said, changes up the early game a lot, complements Lion and Lope really well. You probably use it in every single campaign you're in. Dung Beetle Knight, really cool. It's fun. It's a lot of it's a challenge, so it's like Lion God, but you get some rewards from it. And it's a difficult challenge. It's a fun fight, and you get some cool stuff. The weapons, the armor set's really cool. The weapons that you can calcify and stuff, really cool. And then Slenderman is another nemesis. Again, this is why I said you should actually play the core game first. Decide if you say you like the core game, what it has to offer. You don't mind Lope, Phoenix, and Lion. You just want to maybe change up the nemesis. Slenderman's a good one to get. So, if you were to get half of them in no particular order, this is in no particular order. I'm just going to name 6 of them that I would get. I've already named 4. Dragon King, Gorm, Dung Beetle Knight, Slenderman. Then I would also throw in Sunstalker and probably Manhunter. Those would be the 6 that I would get. And then the others, that's it. I'm not going to go through all the other ones. So there you go. That's my opinion on all the current expansions. Get Gambler's Chest for sure if you're on a budget and you don't already have it. That's what I would do. And then after that, I told you I would get Dragon King, most priority. That one's really cool. Then Gorm, Dung Beetle, and Slenderman, and then maybe the Sunstalker and what's the 6th one? Manhunter. All really cool. Again, no particular order. Hopefully that helped. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one.